Hey guys, it's FMJ, and I'm bringing you another commentary today, and it's actually on one of the new maps that came out in DLC 1 for Black Ops 3, and I think this was on the day that the map pack actually came out, and I think I went absolutely off on these kids, and it was just like really surprising because I didn't really know the map layout at the time, but I know you're probably sick of seeing all these DLC gameplays in your sub box, but it's basically all I had because I haven't been playing a lot of Black Ops 3 up until the point that this DLC came out. So right now I've got a shit ton of DLC map gameplay. So that's probably what you're going to be seeing for a little bit, especially since the new maps are weighted very heavily in the map rotation. But anyway, today I'm going to be talking about my biggest college mistake. And my biggest college mistake, interestingly enough, actually came before I even entered college. So basically it goes back to my junior and senior year of high school. So if you're not from the US, junior and senior year are your last 2 years of high school. I know there are some places that don't use those terms, but yeah, so I just wanted to clear that up. My biggest mistake actually came during those years. And what happened was I didn't ever really think about college. I went to a private school, and college was a really big emphasis at the school. Like their big selling point was that they were a college preparatory school, and they have some crazy statistics for the amount of students that were actually accepted and went to college after attending my school. And I think it was like 100% up until a few years ago when one kid decided not to go to college, which was pretty funny, but because he kind of just fucked up the statistic. But anyway, I never really thought about college ever. During my junior and senior year, people would always ask me what colleges I was visiting and what colleges I was looking into, and the parents of my friends would ask me the same questions, and I never really had an answer for them because I wasn't really interested or worried about college at the time. I thought, I could wait as long as I wanted to, and that was the issue. That was my biggest mistake right there. A lot of my friends had already been touring different colleges during their, even after the sophomore year, 10th grade, in the summer after 10th grade, they were looking into colleges. They were taking campus tours and going like all around the country to check out these schools that they wanted to go to. And here I was, like, I only knew the names of big colleges. So basically, when it came time to apply to colleges, I didn't know what to do. So I went to my college director at my school, and she composed a list of colleges that I should apply to, and I added a couple just on my own because I knew the names of them. And I filled out my college application, the common application. If you don't know what that is, you probably will if you ever apply to college. Most colleges take this form of application, and it's just a really convenient way of applying to colleges. But anyway, it's really tedious, and I basically just filled it out last minute, like a month before the application deadline, and hit apply to all the schools that my college director made for me. And I never even looked into any of the colleges. I had never toured any of them. So basically, I was applying blindly to these schools that I didn't know anything about other than the names, and sometimes I didn't even know the location. Which is ridiculous because if you're applying to college, you really should know where you're going to be in the country, because if you don't like certain types of weather and certain types of people in those states, then you're not going to want to be in that state or in those states. So basically, I ended up applying to 10 colleges, which is a lot compared to the rest of my class, who only some of them applied to like 3 or 4 and got into all of them, or most of them. I applied to 10 and I got into like 3. And it sucked because that meant that I didn't have a lot of options and I didn't really know a lot about any of the schools. So I ended up taking a tour of one of the schools that I got into called Champlain College, and I think I took another tour at Curry College, and I liked both of the campuses. So basically it was a toss-up between the campuses. Now, Champlain College was 4.5 to 5 hours away from my hometown, and Curry College was about an hour away. And I didn't want to go to Curry College because I looked up the reviews and stuff, and a lot of people said that the people there were just a bunch of meatheads who liked football, and it's a big football school, and I'm obviously not a big football player. I'm a big football fan, but I didn't want to be around that type of crowd, really. I don't like being around jocks and stuff, and Champlain College is a really good school, but the people there, in my experience, were really strange. I don't mean to be like offensive if any of you actually go there. That would be kind of funny. I probably met you or saw you at one point or another. It's kind of a small school. But anyway, I ended up choosing Champlain College, and I didn't know anything about it other than that I liked the campus. It was a really nice campus. It was right off, like, half a mile from Lake Champlain, which was an awesome location. But Vermont, in my opinion, was just not for me. I didn't really like anything about it. But I ended up committing to it regardless. And when I got there, my dorm was a piece of shit. My roommates were really weird. I liked one of them, but the other one was kind of a dick. And the people there were just really hard to socialize with. And I'm not saying that I'm an extremely outgoing guy, but it was extremely hard because the people there were really introverted, and it just made it difficult for me to connect with others and make friends, which is a really important aspect if you ask a lot of people. And I essentially stayed there for one semester. So after the first 2 weeks, I remember being miserable. I remember telling my parents that I was going to leave. And it sucked because I really liked my classes. I was taking classes for my communication major, but at the same time, I was having a difficult time connecting with the people who went there. And a lot of the time, I would end up sitting in the dining hall there at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just being alone and looking awkward because I didn't want to sit with anyone. I didn't like any of the people there, and I didn't connect with any of the people there, so I was just a loner for an entire semester. And towards the end of the semester, I ended up looking into other colleges and doing a lot more research on them and applying for the spring semester so that I could get the fuck out of Vermont, which was really deep in Vermont, by the way. It's not like right across the border. It's in Burlington, Vermont, which is about an hour away from Montreal or Canada in general, I guess. But my second time around was a lot more successful. I ended up finding a college that was a lot closer to home, which was an issue for me because during my time in Vermont, I found that I wanted to come home a lot more often than I thought I would. So I ended up coming home like 3 times a month from Vermont, which was like a 5-hour drive each way. And I don't know how I did that. I look back on it and I'm like, how the fuck did I drive 5 hours home and then 5 hours back on a Sunday? And sometimes I would leave really late at night and get back to the campus at like 2 in the morning, and I would have to find a parking spot, which is a really difficult task if you ask me. And overall, it just really took a toll on my body and my mindset. So when I got back to school, I would just be in a really bad mood. It would cause fights with people that I usually wouldn't fight with. And I remember when I actually finally got out of the college and I got to spend winter break in my home state, I still had a negative mindset, and the school just left a really big impact on my life because I was at a point where I would just be fine, and then out of nowhere I would just start crying and I would just be in a bad mood. It basically just put me in this really bad position, and I had a really hard time getting out of that mindset, and I'm really lucky and grateful that I did because I hated the way I felt at the time, and I didn't think it was ever going to end. I thought that I was just going to be miserable and depressed for the rest of my life, but that wasn't the case. You know, I had people help me get out of that state of mind and help me, get back to my normal self, which is awesome. But anyway, the point of this is just to inform you guys who are planning on going to college about the effects that choosing the wrong college could have on your life. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm FMJ. I'm out. Peace.
Ain't no place they could hide from me.